Hi guys, this is a little video overview of a question that popped up from Richard in the forum about his site, and you'll want to check this out because it's pretty cool. He has been doing some work on a really old site that he had, and it was a static site, still is a static site, but he's added a blog to it, and I wanted to answer some of his questions here. He's getting more traffic. He wants to know, he has all the stats and everything here, how much traffic he's gotten since he started the blog and started working on the site again, and has some questions about the relationship between his static site and his blog, and where he should be putting his focus and what he can do to get more traffic, get more rankings, things like that. So here we are on his blog, and it looks good. I'm just going to give you some aesthetic stuff here first. You're going to want to work on this header here because it's getting cut off by the design just a little bit at the bottom. And remember, in the forum, I talk about you've got your information down for the most part. I want to help you with that too. We'll start with this post that's down here, but aesthetically, your site isn't telling people to stay on it and check things out just yet. I mean, but it's close. It's getting there. And that's really what you want to work with, because to get people to share, to get people to be confident to say, hey, I need to put this on Twitter or whatever, little things like that actually matter, and it'll increase the number of Facebook likes and things that you get in the future with all your content. So work on this. Try to reduce the size of this this header, and I'm not sure how that works in your. I've not seen this theme before, so you'll have to locate where this is controlled there and change that font size just a bit. I like it though. I don't think that you need a big graphic or anything up there. This theme takes care of that pretty much, so it's pretty cool. I like that. You can see that this is for everyone else. This is a right down the middle content and two columns, one on each side. Now, there are things here that you can do without, and things that you're going to need. On the sidebar, the blog roll is cool. Archives, really, this doesn't need to be at the top because people just don't go through archives anymore. They go from, that's why your navigation on your posts themselves has to be really good, like related posts and related topics and your tags. Bighorn, sheep, wilderness, wildlife. Okay, you got your tags, and that's what people are, people are going to go from the content to other content more than anything, more than they'll use any other kind of navigation, except this is very good, recent posts, and this meta, can be moved down. It's not really necessary to be in their line of sight. The REI thing should probably be moved up, and I don't see a newsletter yet. Would be pretty cool to have something like that. Something where you can put together an autoresponder series on hiking tips or wilderness tips or whatever the main thing that people would be coming to your site to learn more about would be. You want to get a list generated here in some fashion or another. So you're going to have an opt-in form up here. You shouldn't have too many categories, although you do. Wow. Okay, now I see why you put this in a drop-down list. Yeah, so you've got some double things here. You can get rid of a lot of these categories, really. Those could probably be folded into, these kinds of topics can be folded into camping. So fire, food, footwear, equipment, things like that. It's not going to help you to have your categories drilled down to this specificity, like dog and dessert and all of that. Cooking, really not necessary. So you can reduce the size of this category list, and really, preferably, you need to have it out open somewhere on your sidebar. So yeah, there's an awful lot. Now, I know why you did this. You wanted to have all these different categories because all these different categories match with the products that you're selling as an affiliate for REI, which is fine, but that's not why you use categories on a blog. On a blog, you want it to be very specific categories that you're going to be talking about all the time. When you're going to talk about winter, what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about four-season tents. You're going to talk about boots. You're going to talk about crampons, climbing gear, ice axes, stuff like that. Well, that's going to be somewhere in your bigger, outdoor sports or outdoors or something like that. That's where you're going to put that in that category, And the tags for that are going to be, you know, winter gear, winter camping, ice climbing, all that kind of stuff. So then you don't need this category. Think of them as departments. A magazine only has so many departments, and within each issue of that magazine, it has like it's an outdoors magazine. It's going to have camping, it's going to have hiking, it's going to have conservation or wilderness issues like action alerts, things like that. Feature stories, that's going to be like your category that you write in the most, whatever that ends up being for each one. Yours might be camping or hiking or outdoors, and that would be like your featured stories. And so think of it like a magazine, and you realize there's not need for an awful lot of different categories. A lot of these things will end up being tags under the different specific posts that you make within the bigger categories. Okay, and then you can open this up and get rid of the drop-down list. Push all this down. Put REI up here, and then get your opt-in list. Start working on your opt-in list and thinking about what you're going to give people for opting in. A series over the course of 2 weeks or whatever that talks about a certain major issue, general issue that most of the people visiting your site are likely to be interested in. Or a guide, like cooking, outdoors, camping, whatever. Something like that, a free guide that they can get. But you need to start building your list. So that for now takes care of this sidebar, but some of the widgets I was talking about, you know, making this more contemporary as far as being able to share and see how you're sharing things and interacting with people on other sites, on like Facebook and Twitter. You might want to play with putting a Twitter plug-in here, and any tweets that you do from any new posts that go up on your site show up as a prominent feature there. You need to get people following you, so you need to have, you know, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook. You know, you can set up a Facebook page just for this site. That's a fan page, basically, that is just for this site. And that's how you do it. So no matter how many sites you have your one main Facebook account that is your Richard Davidian account, and then through that account you set up different pages for the different blogs that you have. This would deserve a fan page. And then you'd want to bring back, you know, a Facebook button or some way to interact with that page and get people to be fans of that page. And then of course you want your blog here to report to that page, and there are plugins in Facebook and in WordPress to help you do that. That's about it for this. And the other question that you asked was, and I'm going to go just to your main site. This is the original main site that has been around for quite a long time, and it looks like it. This looks like a site that was built, you know, I can't remember what you said, but it's several years old. This is the way we used to design sites, and we loved them back then. This was contemporary. This was the big deal. So it's not now. This is a difficult issue because you don't really know where to start, but if you really, really love the way your blog looks and feels, you need to have a designer come back to these static pages, take the elements from the blog, the way it looks and feels, like, you know, the header. A designer can take your header and put it up on all your static pages. So you want to do that, as it won't look exactly the same, but you want people to feel like they're on the same site no matter where they're going, especially when you're going to be linking from your content here over to your static pages here on specific product pages and things like that. They need to feel like they're on the same site. But you got great page rank, it shows age, and that's why you don't want to touch these pages as far as content. And if you have a redesign done here, you don't want the designer, you know, messing with anything like the URLs or anything like that. All you want is somebody to make you a CSS file that turns this page into something that looks more like your blog. And finally, I said I'd help you out on your content a little bit. This is great, and you're doing great because you're seeing more traffic with just what you're doing now. But I would really get into Utility Poster, and I would really check out one of the recent posts by Rusty and how he's using Utility Poster. He's pulling in videos, he's pulling in all kinds of content, just dragging and dropping tons of content in. And you need to see how he's doing that and what he's doing there, because it's really important that you get that down, because exactly the way he's using Utility Poster is exactly what you want to do when you're building posts here when you're not doing your original content or your link bait, the day-to-day posts. And you can take this Grand Canyon National Park thing and turn it into much, much more, because you could pull not only this photo in, drag and drop it. I don't know what trouble you went to get this photo, but you know, in Utility Poster, it'll just find stuff like this that you can drag and drop in, and you can you know, do a lot more. You can pull in Grand Canyon videos from YouTube. You can pull in other blog posts about, you know, Grand Canyon and wilderness survival and travel, and, you know, taking the donkeys down into the canyon, all that kind of stuff. Just tons of stuff you could do, and you're pretty much done with your Grand Canyon topic until you want to write about it again. And this can actually rank. This can rank for different keywords related to Grand Canyon National Park. This might already rank. I'm just saying it needs to. You need to really take advantage of Utility Poster to make that ranking stuff a slam dunk. You might not. Google might not see enough here to do that. And if it's not a really big resource, like it's got more things that people can see, more pictures, more videos, and things like that, the people are less likely to like it on Facebook, which, as a matter of fact, it's nice that you have sharing, and this is great. It's really neat because it's all in one kind of thing. But the thing, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's only right here on your site, and that's great. But you need some things that stick out. This will share with everything in the world, everything that's out there, Google Buzz, Twitter, Facebook. Now, notice that they put these up here because they know that Facebook, Twitter, and Google Buzz are the most important things to share on. What you need to do is work with Share This on their site. You should have an account at sharethis.com, and you can get different kinds of buttons that stand out here a little bit more, because most people just aren't going to even know what this is, this thing down here. And you're just not going to get a lot of activity. I got a lot more activity, a lot more shares, a lot more tweets, a lot more Facebook likes when I put real Facebook buttons and Twitter buttons and Buzz buttons on the bottom of my posts. And you can see the example of that on FridayTrafficReport.com and also on GoWayneCounty.com. You can see both of those examples there. My tweets, all of that stuff went way up when I put the actual buttons here. And I still have, you know, on some of my blogs, I still have Share This, but you have to be a very savvy web surfer to know what that is and be moved to do it. And even if you're savvy, you know you got to click on this, you're going to get this window, and you got to choose and all of that. It's just, it's too clunky, and most people aren't going to do it. But if they can just click on one button, you know, I like this, I want to share this on Twitter, then they're going to go crazy, and they're going to do that a lot more than anything else. That's it for now. Make the two, the static site and this part of the site, look as close together as possible. Make it more contemporary as far as the way people can share and see that you're connected socially, with maybe some widgets on the sidebar to your Twitter account and your Facebook stuff. And that's it for now. That's a lot of stuff to think about. As you go forward, you'll start to see a lot better results as you beef up these posts a little bit more with different kinds of information. Also, I mentioned in the post in the forum that I would replace this with a graphic. You know, you've got this on the footer of every single post that you have. I'm sure REI has some really cool graphics, and I would even put a rotator there, because all this is a generic, are you tired of paying full price for outdoor gear? See if REI has a rotator of some kind that you can put the code here, and it'll show different specials they're having or different kinds of things, and liven up the blog a little bit more with some more graphic content. And since that's the main focus of this blog, is to be an REI affiliate, then that wouldn't be a bad thing to do. But make this graphical instead of a text link, and it's taking up a lot of room too. So a graphic, a 480 by 60 graphic would only be going about right here. Also, this doesn't have any indication that this is a related post. I think this is related posts. So it needs to say that. And the first thing that it says is subscribe to our RSS feed. You should never put top right corner. There should be a link to our RSS feed right there, and they can subscribe to it right there. Don't make people have to go through too many things. And there's buttons for that as well. You can just put a button there. You don't even need to have all this text if you don't want. Because people who know what RSS is, they don't even need to have it described to them. People who don't know what RSS is not, they're never going to subscribe anyway. They don't know what it is. They don't use it. So a button here would be just fine. And anything else that you want to ask questions about, hopefully this is helping a lot of other people too as they're working through their design and working through Backtrack SEO. and working on that aesthetics issue and also the content development issue. Thanks for the question, Richard.